Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2021 National Landcare Awards. My name is Costa Georgiadis, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to present the awards ceremony online tonight. As you can imagine, with everything that's been going on, the fact that the conference and the awards have gone ahead are a credit to all the people behind the scenes at Landcare Australia. The whole team have done a fantastic job to make sure that the conference, as many of you who were there earlier today can attest, has been fantastic. Over the 2 days, more than 60 speakers, and now we move into this very special part of Landcare Week. So happy Landcare Week to all of you as well. What a cherry on the top of the cake it is tonight to be able to have these awards. We've had over 3,000 delegates from across Australia join us for the conference, and of course many of those many of you are with us here tonight for the awards. You couldn't travel to Sydney, so the awards are coming to you all around the country. This year we're celebrating the 30-year anniversary of the National Landcare Awards. The first ones were held in 1991 at the Great Hall in Canberra. People online tonight who were there include Pam Robinson. Now the big question is, were you there? If you were, drop in the chat that you were and just drop your microphone and say, yes, thank you very much. I actually have and I'll show it to you later on, I actually have the menu and the booklet from those awards. Oh, look at this. They're just going to come off stage here. There they are, just as I wanted. There they are, the presentation ceremony, Great Hall, Parliament House, Canberra, 20th of March, 1991. That's a lovely bit of history there. And if you have a look on my socials, you'll see I've taken photos and you can have a closer read of the names and the people that were involved. Now, not only are we here at the International Convention Centre here in Sydney, but around the country there are events taking place. There's a gathering in Darwin, in Perth, in Canberra, in Adelaide, and in Hobart. Now, outside of those areas that are locked down, are you having an event? And if so, let us know and let everyone else know what you're up to. Of course, these events wouldn't be able to take place, and these awards wouldn't have been able to take place without the support of our sponsors. Particularly because these sponsors were going to host the event in 2020. So a big thank you to them for staying with us and for your support. So I'd like to acknowledge the following sponsors who have helped make this possible. Woolworths, Auscover, KPMG Australia, Australian Community Media, and the Australian Government's National Landcare Program. Thank you for your support this evening as guest presenters. This evening we've also got plenty of special surprises. We have Senator Perrin Davey and Senator Raf Ciccone. Both are co-chairs of the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare. We also have Australia's National Soils Advocate, the Honourable Penny Wensley, who joins us from Canberra to present the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. We also have Landcare Ambassador Sophie Taylor-Price, and she's here to present the Bob Hawke Award and to maintain her grandfather's Landcare legend. We have singer-songwriter Jess Hitchcock, and most importantly, of course, we have the awards finalists. Think of it like this. Tonight's like the Landcare Olympics. The Olympics are going on at the moment, but in a similar sense, the Olympics bring together the best from around the world, but people compete, or people present their projects, or they do their training and compete at the local level, then at the state level, then at the national level to get to the Olympics. Well, the National Landcare Awards are recognition of those state-based, well, of course, local projects that are then state winners, and then they get thrown into the mix of tonight's National Landcare Awards. We're bringing together over 75 awards finalists for the 2021 awards. There's 9 National Landcare Award categories, plus the Bob Hawke Landcare Award and the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. I'd now, to get us underway, like to welcome Uncle Alan Murray for the Welcome to Country.
Good evening, my name is Alan Murray. I'm here to do the Welcome to Country. In doing the country, you also need to acknowledge where I've come from. I come from where, and I grew up, 1, 2, 3. Good evening, my name is Alan Murray. I'm here to do the Welcome to Country. Also want to acknowledge my parents. My mum's from Walgett, she's a Gamera woman, and also I want to acknowledge my father. He's from Cumbregunja on Yorta Yorta land. His land is between Echuca and Shepparton on the great river called the Murray River. One of those things about doing Welcome to Country, also you need to acknowledge the Gadigal elders, past, present, and also emerging. But also I want to acknowledge other First Nations people who are part of this webinar, and also want to acknowledge them as well. Also, if you want to share in our legacy, we've been here for 40,000 years, 60,000 years, 120,000 years. We understand the landscape, the rivers, the mountains, the animals, the star system, but also the relationship to one another. We've been surviving here in Australia for thousands of years. We don't have a word for thousands. We just say many more in some of our dialects. But more importantly, if you want to share in our legacy and be part of that occupation of Australia for 40,000 years, even though you may be here for, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or probably 5 generations of Australians. But more importantly, we also want to acknowledge that this is Aboriginal land, always will be, always was Aboriginal land.
Thank you, Uncle Alan. Like you, I'm here at Darling Harbour at the ICC on Gadigal land, and it was wonderful to have you welcome us as part of the ceremony awards this evening, and also this morning as well. It's fantastic to have you part of the event, Uncle. Well, it's time to move into it, and I'd like to start by inviting Landcare Australia Chairman Doug Human to formally open the 2021 National Landcare Awards. Doug, great to see you. What a fantastic day it's been. And now we're up for the awards.
Thanks very much, Costa. Hello, everyone, and thank you again, Costa, for your welcome and for your energy and enthusiasm today. It's been fantastic, and you've demonstrated your clear commitment to the Landcare community again today, and I thank you for that. I want to thank also Uncle Alan Murray for his welcome to country. I'm on Gadigal country in the Victorian West Coast, and I pay my respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and their continuing connection to country. Many of you will have participated during the day today in the National Landcare Conference, with another big day coming up tomorrow, and I thank you for joining us again tonight. It's sort of weird. Normally, this time of night, we're having dinner and looking forward to the dance floor at the end of the night when everybody's got their awards, and there's just so much energy and enthusiasm in the room, and we've got to harness that energy within our living rooms and the other places that we are. I really hope those land carers that are able to meet together in those locations that Costa mentioned, including prospective award winners, enjoy the opportunity of being together, kicking their heels up and celebrating. I want to acknowledge those people that are joining me tonight in the Landcare Awards presentations, the presenters and sponsors, and Costa's mentioned them, but I'd like to name you and acknowledge you again. the co-chair of the Australian Parliamentary Friends of Landcare, Senator Perrin Davey. We were thrilled to have the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare kicked off earlier this year. The Honorary Penny Wensley, the Australia's National Soils Advocate, Steve Costello from the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment, my friend Sophie Taylor-Price, Landcare Ambassador and granddaughter of former Prime Minister Bob Hawke, my colleague Keith Bradby from the National Landcare Network, Alex Holt, Group Chief Sustainability Officer of Woolworths, Tony Kendall, Managing Director of Australian Community Media, Alison Kitchen, the National Chair of KPMG Australia, and Catherine Abbott, Chief Operating Officer of AusColour. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'm sorry we don't get to dance at the end of the evening. Landcare brings together so many different individuals, groups, organisations, governments, academics, traditional owners, and young people. Landcare is for everyone, and these awards recognise that. No matter where you are and what you're doing, Landcare can be for you. It plays an important role for sustainable and productive agricultural practices, environmental protection, and conservation of land and waterways, coastlines, and biodiversity. We've spoken so much today about how critical Landcare is for the future of the well-being and resilience of individuals and communities, particularly in regional Australia, and how important it is to celebrate. And tonight is a night of celebration. We're going to celebrate the work of 69 award finalists from across Australia who continue to make a positive impact on our water and land assets and in our communities. Congratulations to all the award finalists. Thank you for your contribution and your incredible work. For all of you this evening, if you know someone who should be nominated for a Landcare Award this year, then please do so. We've got the 2021 State and Territory Landcare Awards. I'm really thrilled now to introduce singer-songwriter Jess Hitchcock. 3 weeks ago, I was near Cairns on Bulway country, filming a video which we're showing tomorrow afternoon as part of the final session concerning cultural land management. It's immediately before Dani Gilbert's closing remarks for the conference. We're featuring Victor Stephenson and Barry Hunter in a video demonstrating and speaking about Indigenous fire management practices. My friend Sian Darling manages Jess, and she happened to be in Cairns and joined me in the filming. In the course of the day, Sian told me that Jess had just shared a song she'd written on the telephone with her. It was perfectly aligned to our Landcare conference, she said, and perhaps it could be performed. Well, with thanks to Sian and thanks to Jess's enthusiasm, I welcome and introduce Jess, who has recorded this performance especially for the 2021 National Landcare Awards. Enjoy your evening and welcome, Jess.
Congratulations to all the 2021 National Landcare Award finalists, and a big congrats to the finalists for the Bob Hawke Landcare Award and General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. The awards this evening are about celebrating and promoting all the nominees' achievements and their inspiring work. This beautiful country that we call home has the power to bring people together. It has been cared for by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for thousands of generations. This track I would like to play for you is called Our Stories. It is an unheard song from my next album, especially for you tonight. It's about the power of caring for country and treating the land with respect and openness. Never let the fear seep in. They're standing on our shoulders, they don't realize the knowledge from this land is real. If only they would just open their eyes. I'm sorry that you're gone, my dear. They had no right need to steal the song inside you. You'll be the voice of nature, dear, that's needed to bring change in these dark times. Won't you listen to our stories? We've been here before, but nothing's changed with each life that is taken. We stand stronger, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. They tried to bury us with fear, but we will thrive no matter where they throw us. We'll be the voice of nature, dear, that's needed to bring change in these dark times. Won't you listen to our stories? We've been here before, but nothing's changed with each life that is taken. We stand stronger, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. Now more than ever, we need to stand together. We will be the voices of those that we have lost, of those that we have lost. Won't you listen to our stories? We've been here before, but nothing's changed with each life that is taken. We stand stronger, we are not afraid. We are not afraid.
Time for a breath after that. Jess Hitchcock, thank you for such a beautiful composition, unheard stories. I think a conference and an awards event is about stories. It's about amplifying stories. It's about amplifying those yarns, and those yarns are told in so many different ways. And the power of song in First Nations people's story for so long is so important. And what a beautiful way to start the awards ceremony. Thank you, Jess. That was just spectacular. I'm really moved. So, our first award is the Woolworths Junior Landcare Award. And I'd like to call on the Group Chief Sustainability Officer at Woolworths, Alex Holt, to present our first award tonight. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Costa. Thank you very much for the warm welcome.
Oh, that's a pleasure. It's great to have you here. And wasn't that an amazing opening tune?
Absolutely. Beautiful. Really, really lovely.
Such a nice way for you to come in and present our first award. And you know, from my heart, being heavily involved with Junior Landcare, this is a special award, because you look at Jess as our next generation, and you look at the next award of our juniors. This is what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Costa. We're just at Woolworths and myself incredibly proud to support this award, because you know, this is about the next generation of environmental champions. So we're very, very delighted to present this award.
Fantastic. Over to you.
Okay, so just to share, this year we actually awarded 1,609 Woolworths Junior Landcare grants to fund students in primary schools and early learning centres all around Australia. And just as I say, very, very proud that we're award sponsor tonight. So the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award acknowledges a school, youth organisation or young community landcare team that contribute to raising awareness, sharing knowledge and promoting participation of landcare among young people. The award recognises junior landcare teams who implement landcare practices within their local community. Open to young people aged 18 or under, eligible groups include primary schools, secondary schools, scouts, Girl Guides and youth groups. So on to the finalists. The finalists of the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award are ACT Young Rangers Club from the ACT, Megalong Valley Public School from New South Wales, Berry Springs Primary School from the Northern Territory, MacDonald Creek State School from Queensland, Barmera Primary School, the Young Environment Leaders from South Australia, Rysden Vale Primary School 24 Carrot Garden Project from Tasmania, Newham Primary School from Victoria, and Year 5 Environment Officers from Churchlands Primary School from Western Australia. Now, each state finalist submitted impressive award nominations, and in recognition of all of their amazing efforts, each will be receiving a 500 Woolworths gift card as a token of our appreciation. So now on to the winner. After very careful consideration, it is my absolute pleasure to announce that the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award winner is Newham Public School from Victoria. So Newham Primary School, amazingly well done. They demonstrated an outstanding collaborative community programme where students are empowered to learn about environmental issues, understand how these issues have effect beyond their community and are taking meaningful action. The judging panel, we also wanted though to honourably mention the second and third place entries of Rysden Vale Primary School Tasmania and Churchlands Primary School Western Australia. A huge congratulations to all the finalists on their outstanding achievements and the impacts in their communities. Really well done.
We are the current sustainability leaders at Newham Primary School, a rural school that sits in the shadow of Hanging Rock, Victoria.
And we are the school leaders. We would like to acknowledge that the land we stand on is the traditional country of the Wurundjeri, Taggurung and Dja Dja Wurrung people. Ron and Bunjil work together to create this land and everything in it and on it. We pay respects to the elders past, present and future.
We are delighted to accept this Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award. Of all those students, teachers and community members that have worked on our wetland, forest, frog and propagation projects at Newham Primary School over the past years.
We would like to thank and acknowledge our classroom teachers, and in particular our previous sustainability teacher Sam Harrison, who was the main instigator and provided expertise for environmental projects at our school. Also our teacher Sue Highland and her students who work in the frog blog.
We'd also like to thank the members of the Newham District Landcare Group for their leadership, supporting and mentoring, and in particular Penny and Hilary Roberts, Jim Sansom, the late Jenny Wall,
and the Newham Propagation Group and the Newham Garden Club.
And lastly, we thank past and current students and families of Newham Primary School and community members for their hard work on projects.
We are inspired to continue working in landcare and our school and local communities on future projects.
Oh, me and my chicken are very excited. We are super excited. Well done, Newham Primary School. I'm just trying to contain her. She's absolutely pumped. You are the Junior Landcare Award winners, and to the runners-up, fantastic. Everything that you're doing is important, and to the Newham Landcare Group, congratulations on creating those intergenerational connections. That's what we want. We were talking about that in the final session, the final group session here this afternoon, and to see that playing out in community is just wonderful. I'm very happy. That's great. That was the best award to do first, I reckon. So we're going to move on to our next award now, and that is the AusCover Young Landcare Leadership Award. And to present that is Catherine Abbott, the COO of AusCover. Catherine, wonderful to have you here tonight for the awards, and Yeah, really excited to see who's going to be the Young Landcare leader this year.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm excited and very happy to be here too, Costa. So thank you for that welcome.
Pleasure.
AusCover is one of the largest Australian-owned insurance broking and financial services businesses, servicing clients that include many Landcare groups right across the country. We are very proud to support Landcare Australia with the Landcare Awards program to promote the achievements of young Landcare leaders. The AusCover Young Landcare Leadership Award acknowledges an individual or group between the ages of 15 to 35 years who promote excellence in Landcare through on-ground projects, including awareness-raising activities. The award is open to Landcare champions who can demonstrate their capacity to lead and encourage the wider community to engage and participate in managing the environment and natural resources in their local area. The AusCover Young Landcare Leadership Award finalists are Danny Gilbert from the ACT, Richie Benson from New South Wales, Rosalind Brinkman from Gold Coast Catchment Association in Queensland, Saskia Gerhardy from YACA, which is Youth and Community and Conservation Action in South Australia, Carmel Allen from Friends of Fernglade in Tasmania, Gippsland Intrepid Landcare from Victoria, and lastly, Dan Friesen from Western Australia. Now, I'm delighted to announce that the AusCover Young Landcare Leadership Award winner is Danny Gilbert from the ACT. The judges commented that Danny is an impressive young person who is passionate about her country and culture. Danny is actively integrating First Nations knowledge and natural resource management. Activities are creating connections and better understanding of Indigenous land management with youth engagement, and is an inspiring role model for other young First Nations leaders. Well done, Danny. The judging panel have also awarded an honorary mention to Saskia Gerhardy from South Australia. On behalf of AusCover, I wish congratulations to all the finalists on their outstanding achievements. You are all amazing and do amazing work for Landcare, for the environment, so well done.
Thank you, Catherine. And I just want to mention, everyone, that unfortunately, Danny's in Canberra, but there's been a technical problem at the hub where she is gathered and she can't get online at the moment. But here's the big but. You can all jump on the chat function online. If you can jump on there and wish her all the best. Flood that chat line with congratulations to our 2021 Young Landcare leader, and also all the other nominees, and to the special mention for Saskia as well. Please pass on your wishes, because unfortunately she can't come online and accept the award herself. Catherine, thank you, and thank you AusCover for supporting that award, and what a wonderful recipient, and what a fantastic group of nominees. Now, moving along, our next award is the Australian Community Media Award, Community Group Award. Don't you love it? I duffed that one in the rehearsal, and I did it again just now. So I'm consistent. And I think that's a sign of good Landcare attribute, if you're consistent. So I'm going to do it again. That way I won't have sleepless nights. The Australian Community Media Landcare Community Group Award. That's the emphasis that I was looking for. Now, to present this award, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Tony Kendall, who's the Managing Director of Australian community media. Tony, great to have you here.
Thanks, Costa. Great to be here. Let's just call it ACM, so there's not too many sort of iterations on community going. How's that?
Yeah, well, look, that's it. But I've been sort of careful today to say to people during the conference, I want to cut the acronyms out because, NRMs, ACMs, it gets a bit intimidating for people. But community media is such an important thing today in terms of our information, and wonderful that your organisation is supporting this Community Group Award. Over to you, and thank you, Tony.
Yeah, look, thanks, Costa. Australian community media has over 140 publications, mainly in regional and agricultural around the country. You know most of the titles well. They're a trusted source of content and news for millions of Australians every week. And our aim is to provide content that keeps our communities strong, informed, and connected. And it's for that reason we're so happy and proud to support Landcare, to share the stories of the thousands of land carers and the great work they do each week and each day and each year. The ACM Landcare Community Group Award acknowledges an outstanding community group that is working towards sustainable land use and undertaking on-the-ground action to protect, enhance, and restore an area on behalf of the community. The finalists for the Australian Community Media Community Group Award are the Red Bush Regeneration Group from the ACT, the Martindale Creek Catchment Landcare from New South Wales, Lakeside Drive Community Garden from the Northern Territory, the Hinterland Bushlinks from Queensland. In South Australia, the Kersbrook Landcare Group, and from Tasmania, or somewhere in between Tasmania and Victoria, the King Island Natural Resource Management. We also have the Malmesbury District Landcare Group from Victoria and the Friends of the Upper Lesmurdie Falls from Western Australia. Congratulations to all the finalists, and it gives me great pleasure to announce that the winner this year is the Red Hill Bush Regeneration Group from the ACT. Woo! This group has been working on this project for over 30 years, meeting one Sunday morning every month for that time. And when you consider the winters in Canberra, that's a pretty phenomenal effort. And amongst the great work that they have done over this journey is taking this 375 hectare site from 21 hectares of woodland in 1988 to over 130 hectares of native woodland today. Truly amazing effort. In our category, it was also a fantastic field as well, and the judges awarded 2 honourable mentions. The first of those was to the Hinterland Bushlinks from Queensland, and the second was to the Kersbrook Landcare Group from South Australia. To all the finalists, to the winners and the honourable mentions, the work you do is amazing. Thank you so much for being part of it, and we couldn't be more proud to be associated with Landcare and the work that you guys do every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and what a pleasure. The point I noted from what you said there was one Sunday a month. Think about that across that many years, yet 130 hectares of landscape transformed. What a wonderful result, and it gives me great pleasure to accept that award on behalf of the Red Hill Bush Regenerators, and we wish you all the best on your next Sunday gatherings in the years ahead, and thank you for your work. Fantastic. And Tony from Community Media, thank you for your presentation of the award. Now, one of the most prestigious National Landcare Awards is the Bob Hawke Landcare Award. And coming up tonight, there are 3 finalists. We have Andrew Stewart in Victoria, James Walker in Longreach in Queensland, and here is a video just to start to put them in the picture for you of Justin Kirby in New South Wales.
We're in northern New South Wales, just off the Gwydir River at Gravesend. We've got 2,200 acres. We now have a sheep stud Dorpers are not sheep, they're basically little cattle. In 21 years we've done 10,000 lambs. We're not big production-based enterprise, but we're very profitable. This country here was farmed a lot in the early days. This landscape has been degraded quite severely, and it wasn't anybody's fault in the time. When we first bought it, it was just bare, scalded, covered in galvanised burr and thistles, but that was all we could afford. We looked into how we could go about farming, and that's when I saw a field day which was Colin Syce, pasture cropping, and Judy Earle on soil. And we went to that and just came away just enlightened. The original project that we did was converting our farms over to perennial pastures, and we got funding to convert a planter into a no-till planter, and then we got funding for some grass seeds and things. Grazing management was a very big part of it. So water and wire, basically more paddocks, moving stock, not set stocking anymore. Originally the saltbush was mainly planted for a drought subsidy in the grazing, but it wasn't as productive, and so we've looked at it as more of, we wanted an integral part of the farm to make it more productive. So we've now put 10 metres in between the saltbush rows, and we're planting multi-species in there just to increase the biodiversity. The multi-species has been around for a while. We started doing it and people thought it was pretty bizarre. How do you control your weeds in your multi-species because you can't spray it? I said, well, you don't spray it. Once you start multi-species, you change the soil and then the weeds don't become an issue. Soil health to us it's a really big thing in the sense, the basics is that it's going to give our soil resilience, which then gives our plants resilience, which gives our farm resilience for droughts. But in the bigger picture, there's health benefits for us as a family, for people that eat food off our farm. We know physically that we're far more resilient because of it. We're getting things like our animal health is going up, fertility rates are going up. Healthy soil is 4% organic carbon and above. We had 0.5, 0.7, which is very poor, and you could see it was that way. And we've now pulled it up to above 1. We've planted about 10,000 trees and up to date about 150,000 saltbush seedlings. We've taken away the chemical input, and that puts everything back into balance. If the bees are there, that's pollination. If the spiders are there, they're keeping the pests at bay. One of the projects we've done just last year, we planted 3,500 trees that link one side of the farm to the other, which is a corridor. Getting involved in the community originally was based on learning, and that's why we sort of became part of Landcare. Now that we've actually done what we've done, we really enjoy sharing that knowledge. We started the Green Triangle group. What we do is every 3 months we have a cup of tea at someone's place. We'll just talk about what we're doing on our farm or somebody else is doing on their farm, and jump in the car, we go for a drive around, we dig dirt. We had an actual field day here about a month ago based on the Green Triangle group, and I think we had about 70 or 80 people came. And at that day we said, this is how you do it, start a Green Triangle. And so we're hoping that in that Green Triangle type grouping system, you just share that little bits of knowledge here, there and everywhere and pick up small things. I think Landcare evolving into the future is really important. People say, well, I'm not going to save the planet by doing my little 2,000 acres. We don't think that way. We think if we do our 2,000 acres and somebody comes along and picks up a little bit of something that makes them change, even to the slightest amount, that's better than not doing anything. We only have one crack at this. Enjoy what you do, so hopefully people that see this see that this is just an average farming family that came from farming background that have made changes.
Justin, I couldn't agree more with you. What a wonderful perspective you've just shared, that you've grown biodiversity corridors to support our wildlife, support our pollinators, rebuild the spine of our landscapes, but then you're walking your community through those corridors as part of the Green Triangle group. That's then building the biodiversity in the human community and in your local community, and we can all do that. We can do that in our front yards, we can do that on our balconies, we can do that on our verges and connect our streets, because it's the corridors and the biodiversity connections that we're looking at. Wonderful, wonderful work, Justin, and thank you for sharing your story. And congratulations on being a nominee for such a prestigious award. Our next award is the Australian Government Partnerships for Landcare Award. To present this is the co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare. It's Senator Perrin Davey. Senator Perrin, wonderful that you're stepping up and being a friend of Landcare. Thank you on behalf of all of us in Landcare.
Thank you, Costa. And Landcare is such an important organisation. So we're very proud to be Parliamentary Friends of Landcare and very proud to be able to present this award, which recognises a partnership of individual groups or organisations that has demonstrated leadership and achievement in landcare activities. Nominations are open to partnerships that include natural resource management bodies, research organisations, local government, landcare, environmental, farmer, school and or youth groups. And this year's finalists are from the ACT Parks and Conservation Service and Park Care Volunteers, from New South Wales, Floating Landcare, from the Northern Territory, Friends of Fog Dam, from Queensland, City of Gold Coast Beaches to Bushland Program, from South Australia, McLaren Vale Biodiversity Project, from Tasmania, Tamar Natural Resource Management, from Victoria, Australian International Landcare, and from Western Australia, Care for Headland. And the winner of the Australian Government Partnerships for Landcare is Floating Landcare from New South Wales. The judges commented that the group demonstrated leadership and measurable achievements in landcare activities through partnerships to a very high level. The Floating Landcare program, formerly known as Workers on Water, commenced in 2012. It is coordinated by Greater Sydney Local Land Services with the support of Bushcare staff and rangers from its program partners, Hornsby, Northern Beaches and Central Coast Councils, and the National Wildlife Service in the estuaries of the Hawkesbury and the Central Coast, as well as a range of volunteers. The judges also awarded an honorary mention to the Eastern Metropolitan Regional Council from Western Australia and the Australian International Landcare, now Global Landcare, from Victoria. Congratulations to all the nominees and to the winner.
You're on. I think you're on mute. We can't hear you at the moment. Can you hear me?
No.
Oh.
I can't work it.
Yeah, here we go.
Sorry. Oh, yes, people can hear me. So I'll just quickly say the success of our program is a reflection of the active support and willingness of councils and national parks to work together, coordinated by LLS, or Greater Sydney Local Land Services. We have a fabulous, enthusiastic and committed volunteer group, and I'd just like to thank Beck Moy in particular from Local Land Services. Thank you.
Congratulations, Floating Landcare. What a wonderful project you're overseeing, and it's a project like yours that's capable of really attracting new interest into landcare for people that suddenly hear. And I know when I've been talking about it in the media recently, the different groups from around the country, and when I mention Floating Landcare, I get sort of, huh, what's that all about? And it's those kind of lean forward moments that we were talking about earlier today in the conference, ways of bringing more people and of course cross-generational interest into landcare. So a big congratulations to you on your win. All right. And I'd like to wrap that award by saying again, big thanks to Senator Perrin Davey for presenting that Partnerships for Land Care Award, and congratulations, Floating Land Care. Now, I have a video coming up next, and this is about the late General Jeffrey, who was Australia's first national soils advocate. And here he is talking about why soil health is so important.
I believe that we are approaching a time in our planetary life where it is going to be very difficult to adequately feed and water what is projected to be a 10 billion population. Now, this presents, I believe, a big responsibility, but also a huge opportunity for Australian agriculture.
As Australia's first national soils advocate, General Jeffrey fought for sustainable practices to improve soil health. Now people all over Australia are working to continue his legacy.
The most valuable asset on your property is soil.
I really believe that agriculture could be the solution to all the issues that are going on around the world at the moment.
The General Jeffrey Soil Health Award recognises the impact that an individual can have to make a difference. It acknowledges the people who are committed to improving soil health, either through their own work or by encouraging others to do better. But above all, this award recognises the outstanding efforts of the people who are caring for the land.
I was fortunate enough to spend some time with General Jeffrey and talk soil with him. It was probably about five years ago down in Canberra. And I remember the glint in his eye was so strong when I started to really dive down into the microbes and talk about the hyphae and the fungi and how important soil life is. And what a fantastic legacy for General Jeffrey to have this award in an area which was his passion. And I know his wife Marlena is in Canberra tonight, and she will be very, very pleased to see this first time that the award's being given out. And to do that, it's a real pleasure for me to introduce you and to welcome the Honorary Penelope Wensley, AO. She's the National Soils Advocate. Penelope, wonderful to have you here. We're just waiting for a connection.
Can't hear him.
Wonderful to have you here as our National Soils Advocate. That is a wonderful job in my eyes. My eyes are getting watery over such a role. Thank you for being a part of us, and take it away with the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award and some background.
Thanks very much, Costa. And thank you for the great job that you're doing emceeing our conference and this award ceremony tonight. Couldn't be better. As the current National Soils Advocate, it's a great privilege for me tonight to present the inaugural General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. This new award was established by my office within the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet and is dedicated to Australia's first National Soils Advocate, the late Major General, the Honourable Michael Jeffrey. General Jeffrey, as you've just said, was an absolutely passionate advocate for improvements in the health of Australia's soils and of our agricultural landscape. He championed soil health from Parliament House to the paddock. He sought change on farms and he talked to farmers right across Australia. In doing this, he changed attitudes towards soil health and soil sustainability. He pursued, I think, relentlessly, a focus on the importance of integrating management of soil, water, animals and plants for the benefit of all Australians and our environment. And we just saw an example of that on the video. So to the award. Offered for the very first time, the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award recognises an individual's work to champion, improve and educate others in soil health. It was opened for nominations from individual land managers, extension specialists or educators making an outstanding contribution to improving soil health in Australia. The award, which will be presented every 2 years, comes with a $20,000 prize to assist the recipient to continue their work in the future. The finalists for the inaugural award are Robert Quirk, cane grower and sustainable agriculture educator from New South Wales. Through years of observation, study, experimentation and collaboration, Robert has developed and promoted management practices that improve soil health. Second finalist is Brian Hughes. Brian's a principal consultant from South Australia, and over an extensive career, he's had considerable statewide influence in soil health. He's worked in particular to address, identify and address soil acidity, including promoting the adoption of treatment options. And the third is Lynette Abbott, academic and science communicator from Western Australia, Emeritus Professor at the University of Western Australia. Lynn has had an influential career in soil biology that spans 4 decades. All 3 of them, Costa and the audience, were absolutely worthy contenders for this award. However, I'm delighted to announce that the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award will be awarded to Professor Lynn Abbott from Western Australia. As I invite the Western Australia Land and Soil Conservation Commissioner, Ms. Cess O'Connell, to present the specially designed trophy to Professor Abbott in Perth, I'd like to thank all nominees. I congratulate all the finalists on their achievements and wish them continued success in their efforts to champion soil health. And I extend my warmest congratulations as a very enthusiastic successor to General Jeffrey to Professor Abbott as the inaugural recipient of the General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. Over to you, Madam Commissioner in Perth, and back to you, Costa in Sydney.
Lynn, absolute pleasure. Very worthy. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Watch this. It's loose. Would you like to say anything?
Oh, I'll catch my breath. First of all, thank you very much. This is an amazing award for me. But first, I'd like to say Major General Jeffrey was a transformational person in my experience, in my interest in soil health. I think for many years, people worked in this area, but without an advocate of the standing that he was, we would have never got to where we've got. Secondly, I'd actually like to acknowledge the soils in Western Australia that have contributed quite a lot to this research that I've done and the communication in soil that I've done. Our soils are highly weathered. They are well known to the Indigenous people in this country, but most importantly, they are a challenge to agriculture. They are a challenge to land management. And because of the challenge, I think that's why we've been able to do a lot to address the problems that we need to address in order to maintain the land in the best possible situation. I'd like to thank UWA for allowing me to follow my passion, to work with amazing collaborators, students and researchers and the wider community. And that wider community includes land managers, farmers across Western Australia and beyond, who have helped me to understand soil. In the real world, we're not just academics working a long way away from the real world. And it's that work with those people that has really been a joy to me, and it's helped me know more and learn more and continue to learn more. Thank you very much.
I came to Western Australia in 1974 to study fungi that had a beneficial effect on roots. So my mycorrhiza story has been my research story, and I landed here with an opportunity to start to work with amazing people in soil science who were plant nutritionists. At that time, there had been a group internationally who were studying mycorrhizas, but in Australia, there wasn't a lot of research. So we were trying to investigate how these fungi, as members of the soil community, were beneficial to plants in terms of the efficiency of phosphate use. I started to say, well, all these fungi and bacteria do amazing things in soil, interact with organic matter, but how do we use this information in terms of land management? And what actually happens mostly in agricultural management is we tip it towards the chemistry, so the input of nutrients, which is very important. But then how do you get the most out of the biological processes that are also contributing to the nutrient supply? And that's the challenge. I've started interacting with farmers because if you're going to use this knowledge, the land managers are the people who are going to use the knowledge. So I started these little workshops to 10 farmers across WA, but with the challenge of trying to bring soil biology into a space where it's common knowledge. Lynn Beasley, who was the chief scientist of WA, was looking for suggestions about science projects for schools. And I suggested soil. They picked it up. More recently, the Department of Education in Western Australia, working with the Department of Agriculture, have now put it together as a resource for teachers in science at Year 7 level. Things like that just are game changers because it becomes normal for people to understand soil at a very early age in their career. I think actually we've come to a point where that link between the farmer knowledge and the scientific knowledge has come together properly. I received some funding from Landcare to work in the Smart Farms program to develop a soil app, and we're bundling up a lot of information on this app, which will be available across Australia, across the world. Someone's growing wheat, or they have dairy cows, or a whole range of different things are going on. But the principles underlying the process of nutrient cycling, the roles of beneficial organisms, the interaction with soil structure, all these things are similar in all those situations. Currently, the whole story of soil carbon needs to take in this heterogeneity across a farm story. A farm isn't just the same soil. In the future, that is really crucial, especially around soil management and soil carbon management. So the policies that underline this area are so important. This decision by the government to support this advocacy is probably the most important point moving forward. Many, many people have been working in this space for a long time, and to see acknowledgement of the space now is very satisfying. And it's not just Australia, it's international. I've interacted with a lot of wonderful people, students and other researchers, and I hope I've had an influence in that space, so they will be people who will carry things on into the future. If you look across Australia, soil is so important. So it's important for agriculture, it's important for anywhere which is a natural environment which is grazed, it's important in cities, but soil, we can't get it back if we don't look after it.
Lynette, I can safely say you've made a big difference, and what a pleasure to see your career and your life's work receive the inaugural General Jeffrey Soil Health Award. I'd like to give a big thank you to the National Soils Advocate, Honorary Penny Wensley. Thank you, Penny, for presenting the award. And you know, it's wonderful to see legacy begin. This was an incredible lover of the soil, and now that love is playing out through the people such as Lynette being recognised. So congratulations. I noticed I just pulled this out of my beard, Lynette, so there's plenty of fungi growing. It's a very healthy microclimate. Now, I mentioned co-chair. Well, the other half of that chair is joining me now. So he works with Perrin Davey, and it's a pleasure to welcome Senator Raf Ciccone, who's the other half of the Friends of Landcare, the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare. Raf, thank you for joining us, and it's a pleasure that you're going to be awarding the 2021 Coast Care Award.
Thanks a lot, Costa, and thanks for that warm introduction, as well as I've never been referred to as Perrin's other half, but I'm sure both her and I will have a discussion at who is the better half, but that's probably a matter for when we catch up at Parliament House next time, but thank you.
No, and look, thank you for all the work that you're doing to support Landcare. It's wonderful to know that these voices are in Canberra and being heard, and it's wonderful that you're supporting the work of all the people in the group.
That's right, and look, from I guess Perrin and my point of view, a bipartisan group, bringing everyone together. It doesn't matter what side of politics you're on, and really recognising the great work our volunteers, land carers do, our farmers, everyone that's involved in land care and the border movement. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present an award tonight.
Take it away.
Thank you. So as Costa mentioned, I'm one of the co-chairs of the Parliamentary Friends of Landcare. I'm delighted to be here this evening to present the Coast Care Award. The Coast Care Award acknowledges a community group or network that has contributed to the significant improvement of a coastal or marine environment. Now, this may include estuaries, coastal and marine wetlands, river systems, and salt marsh ecosystems. The Coast Care activities may include sand dunes restoration, the protection of threatened species, removing invasive species that are imposing on native flora, plastics and waste removal, education and volunteer engagement, and mitigating urban impact on marine environments like stormwater pollution or the control of access to sensitive and vulnerable areas. So the Coast Care Award finalists for this evening are Take 3 for the Sea from New South Wales, Timaru Aboriginal Corporation from the Northern Territory, Straw No More from Queensland, Taparoo Dunes Group from South Australia, Circular Head Landcare Group from Tasmania, Victorian Wader Study Group from Victoria, Roebuck Way Working Group from Western Australia. So it gives me great pleasure to announce that the Coast Care Award winner is Timaru Aboriginal Corporation from the Northern Territory. Well done, congratulations. Now, established by Yolngu landowners in northeast Armand Land, Timaru Aboriginal Corporation look after 70 kilometres of beaches tarnished by marine debris within Indigenous protected areas, an important nesting habitat for marine turtles and internationally significant breeding populations of bridled and roseate terns. The once pristine coastline is being inundated with some of the highest densities of rubbish in the world, and we need to do a lot more to address that. The judges commented that this group was an outstanding nomination with information on the issue and programs in place to bring about change. The judging panel have awarded an honorary mention to Circular Head Landcare Group from Tasmania and Roebuck Bay Working Group from Western Australia. And congratulations to both of them as well. Congratulations to all the finalists on their outstanding achievements, and well done.
Yo, thank you very much for this award. I'd like to thank you all the national recognition for our. It is an honor to accept to behalf for Timaru staff, past and present. Thank you to Adele Hera from Australian Marine Conservation Society for nominating us for the NT Award. Thank you all. And our partners, conservation volunteers, and the Sea Shepherd, and more recently, our own community through Arnhem Coast Cleanup, the GALA Work Camp. Thank you all, and to the ranger groups who do this work to keep our coast clean and keep the Yolngu land clean. Thank you.
Wow, what a pleasure to make that connection with Northeast Arnhem Land and the Dimmeroo Rangers. Congratulations to all of you on all the work that you're doing up there. I've been fortunate enough to be up there and meet with you and be on country, and it's a visit and time that is very precious to me, and it remains a real part of my heart, my time up in Arnhem Land. So congratulations on the work you do, and to all those other groups that Senator Raf Ciccone mentioned there, Take 3 and Straw No More and the Dunes Group and so on. You are doing amazing work. Big thank you to Senator Ciccone for presenting that Coast Care Award. And I'd now like to move to our second finalist in the Landcare, the Bob Hort Landcare Award. This is James Walker from Longreach up in Queensland.
I'm from Camden Park Station, Longreach in central western Queensland. We farm organically. We do beef cattle, sheep and other sort of business activities out here on the farm. We're a very slightly undulating country type. It's got magical sunsets, very open Mitchell grass downs. Traditionally this was a stud depot, so we had Santa Gertrude stud cattle. The grazing style has been just set stocking, breeding. While I've been here, we've transitioned into trading and rotationally stocking. We fence off our creek systems with secure exclusion fences. So we've got a lot of control on our grazing pressure. I've been out in central west Queensland managing and running properties. It's our property now, Camden Park, for about sort of 20 years. In that time, I've done a lot of study and a lot of research and challenged different business models out here to try and stay afloat in what is a very semi-arid and highly variable rainfall climate. One year we had 42 inches of rain, the next year we had 3 inches. So you try and stack up a production system, that's quite difficult. Over the 20 years I've been here, we've had to destock 4 times. So, you know, this current drought is not new to us. When you have to destock, you have to unload everything, whether they go on agistment, whether you lease another place. So looking at those models, I sort of challenged, is that the right way of approaching it? And what we ended up coming up with was a periodic business model, whereby before there's no grass and biomass available, we'll actually alternate our business so that we don't have to put pressure on the land. The better we can preserve the grasses that are there and grow them when it does rain, and we do get above average rainfall, we're quick back to production. My approach is to have a look at the land, assess it, have a look at the environmental systems, and then apply the business model. Not take a business model and apply it to the land. It's actually listening and making sure that your business model will support the resilience of that land you're on. When we sort of went at trying to create a conversation on drought policy, the only way we could do that was to get people that are regarded high in industry and government to come in and have a look at the problem. The actual initiative exploded. We had CEOs fly out from all around Australia, and from that it sort of grew into partnering and working with universities, government, but also corporates and big advisory firms to try and pull together solutions, trying to solve these systemic problems in agriculture pragmatically with that collaboration. We started to diversify and look at other areas. We put a large-scale solar farm on, so it's an 18 megawatt solar farm, 52,000 panels. We've also got agri-tourism here as well. We have about 3,000 to 4,000 people through a year. We've partnered with a large corporate to allow us to breathe in and breathe out with our biomass. So we can bring stock in on demand, and we can unstock the property on demand as well. So they've got upwards of 80,000 head of cattle, and we say we've got this amount of land available, we've got this biomass, so we'll place the cattle there, and then once that biomass is taken, then we can take them off. We've called that a floating lease with a quarterly retainer. That's allowed us to take pressure off the country and let it do its natural course in terms of generating pastures. We've got satellite maps taking photos every day of our pasture biomass. We've got water monitoring, which is telemetry, and we've also got our farm off the grid now, so we've got battery and solar supporting energy use. The way we're approaching it is to fuse or pull together the production metrics, the financial metrics, and then overlaying the environmental metrics on that so that we can have a holistic view of our performance. The action for us is digitisation. The impact I want to have there is to have metrics available, you know, for the farmers, so that they're not without solutions, they're not without ideas, they're not without new opportunities. Where Landcare could play a vital role in the future is supporting business models, just not activities. So we need to have the financial backing for those activities that we're doing on ground to make sure that we're resilient and we're sustainable. Otherwise, it isn't sustainable. Those farms that are undertaking activities that aren't financially rewarding, you know, won't be there for very long. What drives me is the weight of every farmer. I think people forget that it's just not a business, it's a legacy. So as a farming family, you know, we want to ensure there's a good legacy there. When we do have downturns in commodity prices, when we do have downturns in prices, when the interest rates go high, we can create resilience and sustainable systems so that the farmers can remain, because they're the best custodians of land. I think our family's had a bit of a history of service to the community. I think that sort of drives me a fair bit to actually create support for that agricultural community and also drive its performance. When I reflect out here, it's that romantic notion of we are producing, we are looking and caring for the land, but we're also raising that next generation to have that affinity and empathy for the country, but also just loving the challenges of it.
Congratulations, James Walker, a finalist in this year's Bob Hawke Landcare Award. Moving along to our next award now, this is the KPMG Indigenous Land Management Award. To present this award, I'd like to welcome the National Chair for KPMG, Alison Kitchen. Welcome, Alison.
Well, thank you, Costa, for that warm welcome. As KPMG Chairman and Chairman of our RAP Task Force, and as a former Landcare volunteer, I'm delighted to be with you tonight to present this important award. KPMG's partnered with Landcare Australia for approximately 5 years, primarily through volunteering and conservation projects. This year, we were excited to expand our relationship by partnering on our first co-branded pro bono piece, titled Building Resilience in Local Communities. It looked at the mental health benefits of volunteering through Landcare, and I know it's been referenced over the course of the day at your conference, so I'm glad that it's been useful to you all. Tonight, we get to further extend that relationship by sponsoring the KPMG Indigenous Land Management Award. This award acknowledges an outstanding Indigenous community group or individual that is working towards improving land use and who are enhancing or protecting an area on behalf of the community. The KPMG Indigenous Land Management Award finalists are Jackson Taylor Grant from the ACT, Auntie Fran Bodkin from New South Wales, Tamara Rangers from the Northern Territory, Cape York Weeds and Feral Animals Incorporated from Queensland, Maralinga Jawara Lands, Oak Valley Rangers from South Australia, Pakana Services from Tasmania, Waka Walla Land Management Crew from Yorta Yorta National Aboriginal Corporation in Victoria, and Warramungal Gambara Aboriginal Corporation from Western Australia. And I'm delighted to announce that the KPMG Indigenous Land Management Award winner is the Woonambal Gambara Aboriginal Corporation from Western Australia. The judges commented that the group displayed, through the application, enormous level of innovation, and they articulated their approach and the impact of their group activities. The judging panel has also awarded an honorary mention to Cape York Weeds and Feral Animals Incorporated from Queensland, and also to the Tamara Rangers from the Northern Territory. Congratulations to all the finalists on their outstanding achievements, and thank you, Costa.
I switched to this one? Yeah. No, don't switch. Can you get Teddy?
Hello. Congratulations.
Hello. Hello, yes.
Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
It's wonderful that we could make a connection with you.
Yeah, good. We're from Woonambal Gambara Aboriginal Corporation. The people are proud to win this National Indigenous Land Care Award for 2020, recognizing our healthy country plan and the work we do to look after our land and salt water. On the behalf of our Woonambal Gambara Corporation, we thank traditional owners and our Ungu Rangers and our partners, Bush Heritage Australia, working together over the last 10 years to keep our country and culture healthy. This year, we are renewing our Healthy Country Plan for the next 10 years to 2030 to focus on our family living on country. And this Land Care Award gives us confidence we are the right track to achieve our healthy country goals. And thank you for
A big congratulations to the winners of the Indigenous Land Management Award all the way in WA, the Woonambala Gunambara Aboriginal Corporation. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for connecting with us on this special occasion. Wow, it's fantastic to be travelling around the country like this. It's just brilliant, and I'd like to thank Alison Kitchen from KPMG. Take a look on the Landcare website, everyone, for the Wellbeing and Mental Health report, the mental health report that KPMG helped support, and you can read that on the website. I'd now like to welcome Steve Costello from the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment to present some Australian Government awards. The first award is the Australian Government Individual Land Carer Award. Steve, welcome to the awards ceremony. Wonderful to have you here. I think you're on mute. Okay, while Steve overcomes his sound issues, Steve's going to present a couple of awards. The first one is the Individual Land Carer Award. The second one is the Land Care Farming Award. And the third one Steve will be presenting is the Innovation in Agriculture Land Management Award. Sounded like a click there. I think I heard you.
Thanks, Costa.
Yeah, there you go.
I manage the Australian Government's National Land Care Program, and we're so proud to support the conference and the awards this evening, and of course many projects all around the country. So it's wonderful this evening to be able to acknowledge and celebrate all the individuals and groups and the fantastic work that they do. I know I was impressed, and Minister Littleproud was impressed with the diverse range of projects and finalists that we've been seeing tonight and across the proceedings. So the first award that I'm presenting is the Australian Government Individual Land Care Award, and this award acknowledges the significant contribution made by an individual volunteer who's demonstrated outstanding leadership and commitment to land care. Australian Government Individual Landcare Award finalists are Raina Raywinkle from the ACT, Nerida Croker, Upper Lachlan Landcare and Thornton Hadley Landcare from New South Wales, Pauline Cass, Friends of Fog Dam from the Northern Territory, Tony Rossi, Mulgrave Landcare and Catchment Group from Queensland, Trevor Waldhuter, Barossa Bush Gardens, South Australia, Paul Thomas, Friends of Randall Bay Coast Care from Tasmania, John Pye, Project Platypus, Victoria, and Basil Schuer from Western Australia. I'm delighted to be able to announce that the Individual Landcare Award winner is Basil Schuer from Western Australia.
Thank you, Steve. Basil can't be with us online tonight, so on behalf of Basil, I'd like to... oh, hang on, we've found Basil. Basil. Congratulations, Basil. Take it away.
Thanks, Costa. It is a great honour to receive this award, and I firstly want to say that Landcare is a team effort, and I want to give my humble appreciation to all my many colleagues here in Western Australia and the groups down in the Great Southern and South Coast that for the last 30 to 40 years have been so supportive of all of our efforts to try and make a difference. I also want to say, so it's been an absolute honour to work with Indigenous elders, farmers, lots and lots of people in Landcare and NRM. And at the grassroots level, we're doing our bit. And I think after a few decades, we really want our governments to stand up and do more, both for climate change and for biodiversity. They're the two crises we still face. And I think we just want a lot more help on the ground and at the policy level to make a big difference. Thanks for the award and much appreciation.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to give you this award, Basil, and we're all very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Basil. Congratulations.
I wanted to provide an honorary mention to John Pye from Victoria for that award as well.
Now, moving on to the Australian Government Landcare Farming Award.
Thanks, Costa. So this award acknowledges an individual group or organisation who's demonstrated excellence and leadership in implementing integrated land management practices on a farm or properties and to protect soils, water and vegetation. The finalists are Matthew and Sharon Gregory from the ACT, Amarula Dorpers from New South Wales, Humpty Doo Barramundi from the Northern Territory, V. Rossi and Sons from Queensland, Barossa Grape and Wine Association, South Australia, Soil First from Tasmania, Fraser Pogue from Victoria, and Margaret River Organic Farmers from Western Australia. The Australian Government Landcare Farming Award winner is Amarula Dorpers from New South Wales.
Now, Steve, Amarula Dorpers aren't available to be online with us tonight, so on behalf of them here in New South Wales, I'll accept the award and congratulate them. And Steve, isn't it wonderful to see such a diverse range of operations all around the country?
It's just fantastic. And Amarula Dorpers had a journey over 50 years transforming a conventional farm with depleted natural resources into incredibly profitable and healthy business.
Now, Steve, I think we have found them. Amarula Dorpers, congratulations. You are the Australian Government Landcare Farming Award recipients for 2021.
Sorry, had a couple of different microphones going. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry.
Right, we're on. Next. Thank you, George. Costa,
Sorry.
That's all right.
I just want to thank everybody, especially Landcare Australia, our Northern Slopes Landcare group. Shelley McDowell, she was the one that nominated us. It's been a really cool thing to get the nomination and to get this far. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like you are having a wonderful celebration there.
We've got our green triangle group.
There's the surprise.
Yeah, we've got all our supporters and our family and friends here. It's been a wonderful night. Thank you.
Well, have a wonderful evening all together, and thank you for being a part of the awards in 2021.
Thanks,
Thank you.
The judging panel would like to give an honorary mention to Humpty Doo Barramundi from the Northern Territory and V. Rossi and Sons from Queensland for that category as well. So that great job by them.
Steve, it was great we got hold of them in the end.
Okay. The next award that I'd like to present is the Australian Government Innovation in Agricultural Land Management Award. So this award acknowledges a primary producer or an enterprise for their leadership in the discovery or application of innovative farming practices. So, the Australian Government Innovation in Agriculture Land Management Award finalists are John Lillyman from the ACT, Land to Market from New South Wales, Central Queensland Soil Health Systems, SANFA, Ag Excellence Alliance from South Australia, Redbank Farm, Tasmania, Kundare Deverney Landcare Group, they're from Victoria, and Doug Powell, Marrinbrook Farm from Western Australia. The Australian Government Innovation in Agricultural Land Management Award winner is Redbank Farm from Tasmania. So the judges were very impressed with Michael Nichols from Redbank Farm, particularly the records that he's kept, that he can demonstrate the changes on his land over many years, and he was an outstanding nomination.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I guess it's a little bit of a surprise, but yeah, no, it's, yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, no, I'd like to say that our whole farming operation is all about profitability, sustainability, and the environment, and how they can work together. And basically, we should be able to, you know, be able to do that on our property, and I think we've been trying to prove that. Some of our innovations have included new technologies with GPS. So I'd say that a lot of people can hopefully copy that and save some nutrient runoff and fertiliser costs on their property. And I'd also have to mention that we did win 2004 the Primary Producers Award, which my parents won at that time. And you know, I'd like to put a big thanks out to my dad, Andrew Nichols, for you know, pushing me in the right direction, and hopefully we can keep being sustainable with our family.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, and you're certainly continuing the DNA in the family there. Have a great evening. There's plenty of happiness going on there, Steve. Well, I'd like to give a big thanks to Steve Costello from the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment for presenting those Australian Government awards. Now, the last award this evening is the Bob Hawke Landcare Award. Many of you would know Bob Hawke was our Prime Minister back in 1989, who provided that bipartisan support for what became known as the Decade of Landcare and a national landcare program. That was over 30 years ago when Rick Farley and Philip Toyne lobbied the government to give some solid support to landcare. The origins of landcare were back in Victoria, with support from Heather Mitchell and Joan Kerner back in the day. I've been fortunate enough to have have met and done a story with Bob for Gardening Australia. And last year, I was fortunate enough to be at the inaugural unveiling of a plaque at the local bush care location near Bob's home here in Sydney. But before we introduce you to the award, I'd like to roll a video so you can hear from Bob shortly before he passed away in 2019. This video was produced by the boys at Hawke's Brewing, and yeah, take a seat and appreciate this very special video.
We are at a unique point in human history. Due to the scientific genius of men and women, we can either, on the one hand, improve the standard and quality of life of all mankind, or we can destroy the planet as we know it. And achieving progress down that second course won't happen by accident. It requires good people, ordinary people, to identify themselves with these issues of the environment. And so it's my plea that everyone, young people in particular, should learn about these things, learn about these alternatives, these stark alternatives that we're facing, and use their efforts to persuade their fellows, to persuade political leaders that action must be taken. We've got to realise we live in a world that has changed beyond recognition. One of the things that's worried me is as though society as a whole has had a lobotomy. That part of the brain which is concerned with scientific and technical research has developed almost beyond measure. But that part of our collective brain, which is concerned, if I can put it with the phrase social engineering, adapting the world and thinking about the changes to be made to live with the changed world in which we live, we haven't been so progressive. So what I'm pleading with the young people particularly is to let's undo this lobotomy and let's get equal emphasis on our capacities in the technical field and the social engineering field. Read as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and talk as much as you can. This is real politics. This is about just not your future as a young person, but the younger people coming on behind you. Are they going to have a habitable world? And we've got to do our very best to ensure that they do.
After watching that video, I'm sure Bob would be smiling to see the likes of Darnie Gilbert, Jess Hinchbrook and the Newham Primary School students and the intrepid Landcare groups and the young people that are really carrying the flag for Landcare forward. At this point, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Bob's granddaughter, Sophie Taylor Price, a Landcare ambassador, to talk us through the finalists of the Bob Hawke Landcare Award for 2021. Welcome, Sophie. Lovely to see you.
Thank you, Costa, and thank you for the warm welcome and for sharing that beautiful video of my grandfather. That video gets me every time, and I think it's because it viscerally reminds me about the legacy I carry forwards, and I think should remind all of us of the importance of young people to take action and to be young Landcare leaders. So thank you to Landcare Australia for inviting me to present the prestigious Bob Hawke Landcare Award, which The award acknowledges an individual's leadership and commitment to land care, natural resource management, and sustainable agriculture. It's a public recognition of a land care champion who is inspiring others to take action on their own property or through their local land care group. The finalists for this year's awards are examples of how their land care contribution impacts farmers, primary producers and landowners for the sustainable management of natural and productive landscapes. Their nomination for the award demonstrates how their activities are empowering individuals and their communities. The lucky and well-deserved recipient of the award will receive a prize of $50,000, and this will go towards developing their knowledge and skills in sustainable land management to enable an even stronger contribution to land care, the communities and landowners they work with, and the country that they care for. The Bob Hawke Land Care finalists this year are all exemplary examples of the values and aspirations that my grandfather sought to see flourish when he launched the national and bipartisan movement 32 years ago. And I'm very honoured to present to you this year our three finalists. And our three finalists this year are James Walker from Queensland, we have Andrew Stewart from Victoria, and Justin Kirkby from New South Wales. Congratulations, guys, and thank you for all the hard work that you do caring for our country. Now, I would like to introduce the Honourable David Littleproud, Minister for Agriculture in Northern Australia, to announce the winner of the Bob Hawke Land Care Award. Over to you, David.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to announce this year's Bob Hawke Land Care Award. And Bob Hawke was a great Australian, a pioneer that actually helped change the landscape of Australia because of his courage and conviction and support of land care. So it gives me great pleasure this year to announce the winner is Andrew Stewart from Otway. Thank you, Andrew, for your work in revegetation and regen ag in your own properties and bringing over 500 farm visits and 5,000 visitors. It's an impressive commitment to Australian agriculture and the stewardship of our land. So congratulations, mate. Have a great night, and I'll have a beer for you.
Thank you, Minister Littleproud. And Andrew, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Costa. It's a bit of a surprise, actually, to be quite honest, after I saw those other guys and I thought, nah, it's not me.
Oh, come on. No need for humble pie. Talk it up.
All right. Well, look, thanks very much. And thanks to Land Care Australia and the National Land Care Network and the National Land Care Program for putting on this conference and supporting the awardees. And congratulations to all the finalists today. Costa, it's been a remarkable diversity of people, and land care is all about diversity, isn't it? You know, so the diversity of people doing all these amazing things is inspirational to our country, I think, and their dedication, I think it is exemplary. But in particular to Justin Kirby and James Walker, I'd love our families to meet up at some stage and have a get together. I think what you guys are doing is really inspiring. Thanks to my lovely wife, Jill, who's here with me tonight. Thanks, Jill, for your dedication over the years. We've worked as a team on the projects throughout Yan Yan Gurt West over a long time. And we've also been supported by our three wonderful daughters, Michelle, Hannah and Christy, who have been doing land care projects with us ever since they could walk, Costa. They didn't have much choice, but they're fully engaged now and they seem to love the place and they're all here participating in different ways on the property. I'd like to thank my siblings, Hugh, Jan and Ellie, for their support over the years. They've worked with us as partners on this project on Yan Yan Gurt West Farm and beyond. And I thank them greatly for that, helping us take the land care approach, including agroforestry. The award is also recognition to our Yan Yan Gurt Creek catchment people who have worked tirelessly over the years to restore the catchment and to regenerate and revegetate it. And these people have been members of the East Otway Land Care Group, which has been a really active group down here, and also the Otway Agroforestry Network, who have worked in this area as well. and throughout the larger region and beyond. And I'd also like to acknowledge the Upper Barwon Landcare Network for their work throughout the region, and the Corangamite Catchment Management Authority as well, and in particular to Karen O'Keefe. So, but just before I conclude, Costa, I'd like to thank a couple of special friends of mine who have been mentors and been on this journey of landcare and agroforestry for 30 years, and that's Mike Robinson Costa of Otway Greening, and our near neighbour and Rowan Reid of Bamber Agroforestry Farm. Thanks, guys, for your support over the years. It's been a great journey, and I really appreciate your friendship. And finally, to the audience out there, much has been achieved in landcare, as we've seen tonight and over the past 30 years. But you know, we've still got a lot to do. And I think that, you know, we've got to keep the local and the national conversation going like we're having here tonight. We've got to keep these conversations happening and the social interactions as well, as we really need to connect with ourselves, and we need to, and our communities, and connect our farms and our catchments with biodiversity, and to build robust and resilient landscapes, to develop better ecology in our landscapes, and to secure food and fibre production into the future. So I'll leave it there, Costa, but thanks for the wonderful way that you've hosted this project under difficult circumstances. I think you're amazing the way that you've been able to pull this off, but thank you very much.
I'm a fourth generation farmer down here at Deans Marsh on a property called Yan Yan Gert West, which is in the northeastern foothills of the Otway Ranges. We run this property as a family farm. This is a 575 acre property, and our main production focus is prime lands. We also grow trees. We do agroforestry on the farm. By around about the 1890s, the property would have been cleared down to about 3% woody vegetation, which was typical of many parts of Australia. We had the issues of ecological decline and waterlogged areas and salting areas and remnant vegetation in decline. We decided that we should make a whole farm plan. So we did that in the early 90s. We divided the property into land class subdivisions. So we fenced along the land class subdivision boundaries, salt affected areas, waterlogged areas, and fenced out remnant vegetation. And we double fenced along creek lines, and then proceeded to plant plantations along all those fence lines, and to develop wildlife corridors, basically forming a web of connected trees throughout the property to provide the wind protection, reduce the exposure to the stock, and address the salinity, of course. We've established about 50,000 trees and shrubs over the last 30 years on the property, and taken the property from 3% woody vegetation to 18% woody vegetation. And the interesting thing is it hasn't really reduced our agricultural production. The way that we've actually got the trees in is to have family tree planting days. And so we've been doing this for the last 25 years now. Our production system with prime lands, which are giving off greenhouse gases, and what we're absorbing, we think we're pretty much carbon neutral. Well, agroforestry to me is the integration of trees and shrubs into a farming landscape to address the environmental issues, to support and enhance the agricultural productivity, to manage some of those trees for tree products. My favourite paddock, the Gunsbank paddock, where we've fenced off the tributary of the Yan Yan Gert Creek. There's also blue gums in this paddock where we've got 12 rows of blue gums, and those trees were planted in 1993. They were harvested in 2007, which gave us some cash income. The dam that my father built back in the 60s was an exposed site. It's absolutely ideal for Banksias. So we've got 28 species of Australia's 74 species of Banksias up there, and a whole host of other plants up there as well. It's also become a commercial success too, because my wife harvests up there every week. Become a real sense of place to the family. It's like a little food forest in a way, I suppose, and it's got all these diverse plants and it's brought a lot of birds. In the early 90s we came together as a land care group and the Aesop Way Land Care Group. We formed a committee to develop a wildlife corridor and to fence out the Yanyangur Creek and develop a catchment plan for the Yanyangur Creek catchment area. Now that that creek has been about 99% fenced out and forming a wildlife corridor from its, the source of the Boona Hills right down to the Barwon River, a better water quality coming through the system, I believe. And so that's been a really strong community collaboration. Land care means to me the cooperation of people living in a catchment and where people are sharing ideas and actually doers, people doing things as well and building knowledge about good landscape functionality and having a good social time. Sustainable agriculture to me is about building better ecological functionality in our farming systems so that we can have a zero carbon footprint on the property and that we can have a lot of biodiversity in the system with a lot of different products coming out of that system and that it's sustainable into the future. The better well-being for livestock, native animals living on the property and people living in that landscape. Oh, see, we have a connected landscape, just standing and listening to the birds and watching the birds, how they've increased over that time. And there's just a general sense of well-being which continues to inspire me.
Andrew, thank you for your humility, your determination, your innovation, your compassion for nature and your community care. Congratulations on being the Bob Hawke Land Care Award recipient for 2021. I'd like to thank Minister Littleproud for presenting the award and also Sophie Taylor-Price for carrying that wonderful legacy of your grandfather on as our ambassador here at Landcare. To finish things up, I'd like to welcome Keith Bradby. He's going to speak on behalf of the National Landcare Network. Welcome, Keith.
Thanks, Costa. I'm coming to you tonight from Menang Noongar country in southwestern Australia, the land of those weathered and challenging soils that Lynn Abbott mentioned. It's also where a lot of Andrew's Banksias come from, and some of those Banksias I've been admiring behind you all night. Great stuff. My congratulations to all the finalists and national award winners. Once again, we've seen an impressive panorama of the diversity, the warmth and the strength of Landcare, the range of communities and individuals doing their best for Australia. The recognition that comes through these awards is one of the long-standing features of our Landcare movement. As Costa reminded us, the awards are now 30 years young, from that first awards night in the Grand Hall of Parliament to tonight, where we're all sort of connected in halls and centres and lounge rooms, and I think a few bedrooms across the country. It does almost seem like a step forward. We'll let you think about that. Look, Andrew's already said the key things, and I'm just going to quickly reiterate them, that as we saw in the videos and talks, Landcare is so much about building and maintaining connections, both the Landcare work connections, but also our social connections and our friendships and our neighbourly way of doing things. We're connecting scientists and practitioners, Landcare pioneers and leaders with those who come to the field days, the country with the city, as we've seen in a number of the awards, the biodiversity across the farm, across the district. Thank you, Andrew, for talking about ecological functionality. And of course, now the phones and Zooms that connect us across the country. our land care organisations, of which the National Land Care Network is a key, and our host tonight, Land Care Australia Limited. We're about representing your interests and helping you stay connected, and sharing the knowledge and the wisdom and the techniques and the successes as we have tonight. Two quick messages to finish on. As you stay home or go home, but after tonight and certainly after the conference finishes tomorrow night, take Andrew's good advice, stay connected. Keep talking to the new people you've met, keep up those warmth and those connections. And I like Minister Littleproud's advice too, and I recommend it. I think we should all have a beer or two for each of the winners, but don't do it alone, do it with your land care mates around you. Thanks, Costa.
Thank you, Keith, for wrapping that up so succinctly and so eloquently after such a rich range of nominees. There are so many good projects going on around the country, and as I look around, you can't see what I see, which is not many people other than the tech people. And I just want to give a call out to the tech team here at the ICC for the wonderful work that they've done to make this happen, and the teams at Land Care Australia who have managed all of you as delegates to get online and to click on the right clicks and to find your way into the plenaries and into the sessions and so on, and particularly to be able to come and be a part of these awards tonight. To all the nominees and to all of the projects from all around the country. It blew me away to see all the states represented with so many fantastic projects. Thank you to all our presenters who helped present the awards to these very, very worthy groups and individuals. Let's make this future. Let's make it together. I look forward to these awards coming back again in 2022, and what we do need to do is ask you to nominate people in your states and territories for the 2021 Land Care Awards. Make a point, think about who's out there doing something and let them know. Thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to all of you for being patient at home, for being a part of this, because it's made it very special and worthwhile to be able to recognise and amplify all of the nominees and the award winners here at the 2021 National Land Care Awards. From me here in Sydney, I wish you all a very good night and look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, 9:30. We'll be ready to rock with day 2 of the 2021 National Land Care Conference. Good night.